Okay, welcome everyone. We are playing 316 Carnage Damocles of Stars with the Gauntlet. This is our 14th planet. This is Oscar Sector, and the brigade will be hitting Holbein tonight. This is the first session of our new sector. So let's. My name is Donna. I'm running the game. My pronouns are he, him. I'm based in Dublin, in Ireland. So let's get a quick intro from all of our characters. I think we can go in rank order, which is probably the easiest way, seeing as we don't have a character keeper. So I guess we'll start with Jim and then go down ranks: Sergeant, Corporal, Trooper.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jim Crocker. I use he, him pronouns, but if you're using they, them more generally, that's totally fine with me too. I have been on the Gauntlet for a couple of years now, and I am, I guess, I am literally a veteran of this campaign in both the in-game sense and in the fact that I think I've played in most of the iterations of it when Donna has run it periodically. So I have the highest ranking character simply by virtue of having played the most games. And that is Captain BD. The BD stands for button down. His reputation is as someone who knows the regs, follow the regs, and expects the people that serve under him to do the same for the most part. So he's survived some pretty harrowing missions. I got to use my portable tactical nuke last run we had, I think. So that was a lot of fun. We destroyed our APC, so we've got to hopefully try and work our way back to doing that. But so far we've had a pretty good record, pretty good run with this platoon. So we're hoping to keep that going.
Jim.
Hello, I'm Pavel. I use he, him pronoun. And I played this game some time ago. Don't remember much, but I speed-read the rules to not be slacking behind, because Captain BD will not take any kind of inefficiency. So I'm playing Sergeant Erhard Drake Brandis. His reputation is Professor, and he is very good in his non-fighting ability, which I assume he is kind of the guy who would explain to the soldiers the physics of the drop pod and why it does matter the angle at which you enter the atmosphere, and the troopers would just nod, and he's like a total nerd and comment on the side. But he's smart and he tries to use it, but in a he doesn't want to be offensive with this. That's how I read his reputation as Professor. Yes, and he's a sergeant, which means, yeah, he will be ordering a squad of troopers, and yeah, he has some cool gear, but not so cool like tactical gear, but.
Okay, great. Thanks, Pavel. Puckett.
Name's Dietrich. Got 2 jobs: making BD look good and killing bugs, in that order.
And Dietrich really is that simple. The e-cannon is all. Thanks, Puckett. Anders.
Yeah, my name is Anders. This is, as Donna mentioned, this is the first time I play this game. So this will be interesting. I've read the rules sometime several years ago. I tried to brush up a bit. Hopefully I can pick it up while we play. So Emil Spunkmeyer is the newest, lowliest trooper here in this squad, and he has bought into the propaganda. He's here to keep humanity safe from the Xeno menace. And apparently the best way to do that is to kill them all. So that's what he's here to do.
And does Emil have a particular reputation in the platoon, or is he just green?
I think he's just green. He was fairly. He did a fairly good job in boot camp. Not particularly imaginative, but ruthless efficiency is what he aimed for. Maybe sometimes achieved.
Okay, so yeah, as the brigade, comes out of hyperspace, everyone gets returned to gravity, and as you restore communications with the rest of the universe, everyone gets a mail packet, and a little video from home. And I think like one of the troopers who got killed in an old planet, a trooper gloriously named Hooper, who was killed by a siren in a lovely beachside villa. There's an unclaimed video message for him just sitting in the queue. And I think one of the troopers just like takes it and wants to play it. We may as well see what the home life for Hooper was.
Is that happening privately or what?
I think everyone has taken their message, and it's just sitting there. Whatever usual mechanism just sees that these things don't get put on the board has failed. It's just not tagged right. So one of the troopers is looking at it. You probably know what he's thinking. He's going like, I wonder. Or maybe he's just thinking, I'll have to reply back and tell them that Hooper's dead.
So if I see somebody doing this, like staring at it, I'm just going to walk up and I'm going to, pull it down off of the board. And I'm going to walk up and, just like not get in his face, but just kind of close enough that this is a private conversation with me and this trooper. And say, just want to make sure that I remind you about the regulations regarding the privacy of correspondence between troopers and their families. You wouldn't want us to air out whatever you have going on with your family if you buy it on the next mission, would you?
Sorry, sir. Well, I mean, I was friends with Hooper, so that's what I was thinking, sir. But
there is absolutely nothing preventing you, trooper, from contacting Hooper's family on your own to express your condolences. And in fact, regulations provide for one free piece of stationery that does not come out of your normal monthly office supply allotment. In order to do so, would you like me to arrange for that?
Sir, yes, sir.
Good, as you were. And I take that and I'm going to bring it back to my, oh, you know what? I don't bring it back to my office. I very, like in front of everyone where they can see me as I'm walking out, I just drop it in the incinerator slot.
Okay. So, yeah, what kind of letters are people getting from home, or packages are people getting from home? Drake, how about you? What messages are you getting?
Yeah, so we are living in a very dystopian Terra. Yeah, I suppose it's basically the images and movies and some kind of recordings of, you got a new nephew. He is 1 year old and he already plans to join the Expeditionary Force, just like you, and then some images from the birth and from the first birthday, and and probably like a letter that Drake's younger brother already joined the Expedition Corpus, the Expedition Force, to be just like Drake, and he probably gets a message from his younger brother saying, "I got tired of the the Pa and Ma, and I joined as you. Hope to see you in the field.
And how does Drake take that?
I think we see Drake. I think we see Drake slightly not happy with this, and maybe he like writes a reply to his brother saying that I hope you know what you're getting into. It isn't perfectly safe or as advertised, but well, I hope you get under the wings of some good captains that care for the trooper life. What we see, he's not really afraid about his brother because, well, the rate at which the troopers die, it's quite high anyway. So
Okay. How about Dietrich? What kind of letters from home does he get?
I don't really get many. I got in a little bit of trouble, and well, they said I could come out here and kill bugs, or go to a not good spot. So I came out here to kill bugs, but my family doesn't really want to talk to me much now. So yeah, I don't have a mail call.
Okay. Is that something that people notice, or do they know better than to ask, why you're not getting mail?
Well, after that first guy who asked, they know better now. He got out of the infirmary eventually.
Eventually. They could regrow that arm for him, right?
Had two of them. You only need one to kill bugs. Not like I took a shooting arm.
And how about Emil? What's Emil's mail call like, even if this is his first one?
He's got a video message with his parents. They're a bit older, and they're very, very proud of their son who has joined the Expeditionary Force. And wishing him luck in his mission to protect humanity. And it probably comes through that they're not the brightest people. They're a bit clueless, but they love their son, and they want him to do well.
And does he send them a message back, or is he a writer?
No, he doesn't write. He sends a video message back. He probably, I think he does a bit like move the camera around a bit to show all the other people there, and to show that he's like part of the team, part of the squad. And talking a bit about the brotherhood here among the troopers.
Okay, cool. And how about BD? What's BD's mail call like? You're muted, Jim.
Sorry, hardware stuff. BD once a month, like clockwork, BD gets like a small tin of cookies, of like butter cookies, right? Like of the kind that like your elderly, grandmother would send you or something like that. And it is always without fail, like he pops it and there is always one missing because it's been removed upon inspection and has been whatever analyzed or maybe just eaten by whoever inspected the mail. But it's like it never comes with a seal on it or anything like that, and that's okay. And folded in with it is a little handwritten note, which also very clearly has been popped open and looked at and stuff like that. It's not kind of sealed or anything like that. And it's and I think it's from his mother. His father, like, I don't think we need to say what happened to him. That leaves me material for flashbacks. But it's very clearly just his mother that is writing him. And it's always, I'm proud of you. Your father would be proud. I feel safer knowing that you're there. And like updates on her 3 cats. And like every letter is basically the same. And I read it and I, and I eat one of the cookies while I read it. And then the rest, I'm going to have one every 4 days until the next batch arrives, because then that spaces them out so that I can, have them so that I'm rationing them.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I guess after the, I think, the mood in the platoon or the company is always a bit strange on mail day. People have, quite a varied experience with this. So, I think people are kind of happy to be called in for briefing. Yeah, and you have the Major Morgan, the intel for the battalion is there. He is going to fill you in on some details before you decide on the company mission BD. Yeah, he brings up the holo map, and you see this like jungle world, but it looks quite. There's not a lot of land area, maybe a quarter at most, spread out amongst the southern hemisphere. But that all looks kind of the same, very green, very lush. So Morgan opens by saying, this one is biggie, people. From our last few missions ago, when we found the Damocles, that warship had been pulled apart, but we got a good read on their data. The other brigade, the 229, had been beaten up, and we found this planet's coordinates in that data packet. So here we are. Some of the indications from the Damocles intelligence outfit showed that whoever created those mech spiders or that ooze that we've encountered before might have been doing genetic tampering on whatever organisms were on this planet before they arrived. So we don't have much idea what's down there, but even if we did, that intelligence is probably going to be outdated. So I guess for the first time ever, stay frosty. We're splitting up to do a pretty broad search. There's no sign of any civilization down there, so I think a sweep and clear will be what we have to do. But obviously, inside your company perimeters, you're free to take whatever approach you need to. he pulls up a close up of the map, and you get like this big kind of island area. A few thousand square kilometers of terrain to take care of. There you go. Dropships will be a go in approximately 50 minutes. So load up, get into your armor, and good hunting then there.
Dismissed, everyone. And I want to ask whatever this, corporal or whoever it is that's given us, that gave us the debrief. I want to like after everyone's dismissed, I'd like to speak to him.
Major Morgan, the head of,
yeah, Major Morgan.
Yeah.
Major, I don't know that it's speak freely, but Major, permission to inquire about our mission parameters.
Well, at the moment, we need to find these things. After that, we'll, maybe your special studies group will want to capture, but that's in the future. Once you make contact, once you fight these things, you know exactly what they're capable of, and then we can make some decisions down the road.
Sir, yes, sir. What is my priority in terms of bringing back evidence of these experiments that we may come across down there?
At the moment, it's 0. Your priority is to kill.
Sir, yes, sir. And I nod and salute and head back to my squad.
Okay.
In the meantime, you mentioned that this is that this planet is very rich with fauna and flora. Or they?
It's like a jungle world, basically, as far as you can tell.
I think we see Sergeant Drake staying maybe like a little bit longer, actually like skimming through the whatever briefing we received, and he would like to come up with some some clever tip for his is that company, for his squad. Am I assigned to the squad? Yes.
Yeah.
For my squad, to give them some advice on how to like gear up. Is it like super hot, super cold, like just like a flavor?
Yeah, I mean it's the temperature and humidity readings are kind of off the chart, right? So it's going to be really uncomfortable in your Mandelbrot armor, right? It's gonna
be wet, is what
it's gonna get hot and sticky.
Like no matter how much we seal it, shit's gonna be damp.
And when it comes down to it, most troopers are going to want to pop their lids, right? Get some relief that way. But obviously, no one would be foolish enough to do that in the combat zone, right? I mean, your troopers are always 100% commonsensical, right?
So based on that, I suppose as the rest of the squads are leaving, we see Sergeant Drake addresses his squad, because I assume I'm in command of the squad.
Yeah. So
the structure.
Yeah. So I guess Captain Beatty is in charge of an entire company, right? Which is 3 platoons of 3 squads each. But then like in that pyramid, you're in charge of your 9 guys, right?
Awesome. So I suppose we see Sergeant Drake addressing the unit and saying, soldiers, prepare for extra humidity. Take some extra coolant and take some extra water. Some extra water supplies. Some extra water supplies, because we will sweat like hell. Get ready.
What is Dietrich doing to this? I mean, this is presumably good advice, right? But has Dietrich got some kind of trick up his sleeve?
Of course I do. Been told to embrace the suck. Well, I don't know what embrace means, but I figured that this is part of embracing the suck. So follow orders.
And how about Emil? Is there something he's remembered from boot camp that seems particularly pertinent right now?
I think he's looking to see what the more experienced soldiers are doing. He doesn't want to ask because it will make him look like the new guy, and he doesn't want to be the new guy. But he's trying to see what the others are doing and packing extra water, but he's checking how much extra water everyone else is taking, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I guess normally you have hydration tablets in your gear,
Okay.
right? So I think a few troopers are putting an extra few bottles of that into their pouches, because if you're going to be sweating a lot, and you're never going to be able to carry enough water, so bring along some extra stuff of that. Okay. So is there a specific briefing that BD is going to give his company, or is it pretty much as per the major?
I think it is as per the major, with an emphasis on don't get distracted. We may find things down there. We may find evidence that there's been intervention by other Xenos, by aliens from aliens that are not indigenous to this world. We are not here to worry about that. We are here to, today, our job is to clear this jungle so that our tech guys and scientists can come down and look through it safely. And right now, if we do our job right, we've protected them in the future. And that's what we're here for.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you go aboard your dropship, which carries pretty much the entire company, right? So everyone is getting into a drop pod. These hold 9 troopers apiece, and they're big lugs of things with a circle of seats facing out. I think Jim, you still have BD's drop pods, right?
We are actually going to use a drop pod for this. Yeah. We're gonna load into the pods that stick out of the sides of the ship, and they're gonna drop us right in the middle of it. Because landing zones in the middle of a jungle like this are, one of the things we may have to do is actually clear a landing zone at some point here. So.
Yeah, so you're strapped in, and the crew chief is pretty amiable about this kind of stuff. She does this 20 times a day in her sleep, no problem. Just keep your elbows in, and it won't get snapped off when everything goes haywire.
And Anders, what is your character's name again?
Emil Spunkmeyer. I'll put it up here as well so you can. About that.
Oh, if you change your nickname on Zoom, that's helpful too. Then we can see it. So so I say Private Spunkmeyer, it's your first drop, your first combat drop. That means you get to count us down.
Oh, yes. Sorry, yes, sir. What do I count down from, sir?
When the light turns from red to yellow, you start counting backwards from 5. When it turns green, you should hit 1, and then we will drop. Do you understand?
Sorry, yes, sir.
And I think that's where everyone turns to look at you. So yeah.
So before we do, if we're going to be in an ambush situation, which we will obviously be, but before every encounter, everyone should say what their weapon they're using is going to be. it may make a difference for range.
Yeah, I totally think that for Sergeant Drake, it's his machine gun, which obviously looks somehow modified, with like two ammo belts coming in. You know, just for more ammo, less cooling.
Okay. Need I ask Puckett what is Dietrich hauling around for this encounter?
Carry my
always-
BFG, sir.
It's always the E-cannon. So for Spunkmeyer, I guess it's going to be the slug rifle, right?
Yeah, I don't
As a
think
lowly
I have
trooper,
a
that's
choice,
your
really.
yeah. Okay, and Jim, how about BD?
And BD, it's the sidearm, his trusty, slug pistol. That's,
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, in usually at the start of an encounter, we would roll. I would roll the alien ability, and anyone who wants to can roll your non-fighting ability, and that kind of determines how the encounter starts. We're testing for dominance, basically. Whereas when the lieutenant or the captain uses his extra special drop pods, you automatically get an ambush in that first round. So, so Jim, you get to set the range of the encounter.
Near.
Okay. So everyone on the Roll20 range map, you can. Oh, you're all at near by default anyway. So I'm just gonna describe the terrain, and then I put 3 tokens in. So one person is not going to get kills, and that is going to be by a roll off, right? So everyone's going to roll a d10, and whoever gets the lowest doesn't get a kill. Let me just describe the scene. So you're hurtling through the atmosphere. I'm presuming Emil gives that shaky countdown. Is this like a full-throated roar, or is this like a little bit nervous?
He's very nervous but trying to hide it, and he probably is off by he's like at 2 when the green light is. So he's very surprised when they drop.
Yeah. So yeah, the G forces here are pretty extreme, and then the buffeting in this kind of high humidity atmosphere really hits you. If they'd given you a decent breakfast, you'd be sorry right now. And then there's a booming crash as these drop pods smash through the canopy of this jungle, and then you just make not quite a tidal wave, but a real big splash when you hit the water, this kind of waist deep water that's covering this jungle floor. And you're going to open up into these giant mangrove jungles, so that the roots are going way up into the air, probably taller than you without much trouble. So yeah, it's going to be pretty watery and pretty dank down here.
Yeah, and there's explosive bolts that just blow the doors open. It's not like we don't it's not like a hatch gently drops or anything like that. It's a lot of wham bam kaboom, everything's shaking. And not only that, I think if we hit in waist high water, we're wading out into boiling water, because whatever retros keep us from getting flattened almost certainly boiled whatever we're coming into. It's probably steaming, and steam on our visors and stuff as we're coming out. Yeah, this is fun.
Okay, so let's do the roll off. So we're near. So if you are getting, if you're one of the lucky ones, you'll be doing kills on these aliens at your near range for your weapon, which is going to be shocking for anyone who hasn't seen Dietrich in action before. So once you roll off, I'll give you some info on the aliens, and then you can describe it.
That
It's
7
just,
that's there is from a practice roll before.
Okay.
It's just 1d10.
Yeah, just 1d10. So you're just rolling off to see who gets to remove an alien token.
Ooh.
It's a pretty good start.
Isn't that bad? Don't we want to roll low?
No, it's just a roll off. So
This is okay.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Help me out here. How do I roll 1d10 on?
Add slash before the roll.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
No, I believe you made macros. Maybe you can activate macros for the guys, because I have macros activated for myself.
yeah, so I did macros for the non-fighting and for the fighting ability. Anders, and for everyone, actually, if you haven't done it before, if you look into your character sheet on your attributes and abilities tab, there is on the right-hand side, there's an abilities section. And if you click show in macro bar for both fighting ability and non-fighting ability, it'll give you a button at the bottom of your screen, and then you'll be able to just click that to roll versus your non-fighting and fighting ability.
So cool. Yeah.
Um,
So I'm giving orders like I do.
So yeah, like when you come down in the middle of this, right, you see these strange, long, kind of human-sized shapes in the trees, and they look like they're it's kind of like black and white leopard spots. They look a little bit too regular to be like natural, but not too regular to just be a pattern that you automatically make out. But they are like cats, right? They are large cats, black and white with those leopard spots. And you see kind of their eyes glinting at you as the lights from the dropship kind of light up the whole jungle. And yeah, they are definitely surprised by you. So we've got rolls from everyone. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, and so nothing from BD this time. Let's go from the start. Spunkmare, once you roll your kills for your slug rifle, and then I will remove a threat token. So for that, it's D6, so it's the same as you did for that. If you, I might. There is a macro you could do for that as well if you wanted to. It's a little bit more complicated. For aliens. So why don't you describe how that looks from your point of view, and just for flavor, and maybe you can give us a sense of what Spunkmare is like in combat.
Yeah, so this is obviously his first real combat situation. So he's panting, wading out in this boiling water, and at first he's half panicked. He forgets he's got a rifle, but then once everyone else starts shooting, he starts shooting as well, and then his training kicks in, and he's just short bursts at anything that moves that isn't in Mandelbrite armor, basically.
Anything out there is fair game, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So next we have we have Dietrich next.
Sorry, mute button wasn't working. I look around. There's bugs. I don't care if they look like kitties. I just open up. Am I rolling for kills now?
Yeah, roll for kills.
24.
So what does that look like?
Well, I opened fire, and I'm not too particular about where the rounds are going. So, kill a bunch of bugs, cut down a bunch of trees. Landing zone's pretty clear now. There's a lot of meat everywhere. It's pretty gross.
Okay, great. And Drake.
So Dietrich is using some kind of like an energy minigun, or what is it?
Yes, the E-cannon, but it's been souped up at near range, so it's D100.
Yeah, I'm just like thinking, is it like a quick firing one, or is it like some area of explosion weapon? Because I'm trying to picture how he's using how Drake is using the MG. So
I don't know, Puckett. I know previously you've definitely kind of suggested that it's, more big explosion kind of energy pulses than, a Gatling E-cannon or anything like that. But I'll leave that up to you.
I think at this point, it is a rapidly firing weapon that fires semi-explosive rounds. So it's both.
yeah, so we see Drake charge in from the drop pod to make at least a couple of meters away from the drop pod, not to stay in the boiling water. And with one hand, he's holding like the motion detector scanner, which is like full of beeps. And with the other one, he engaged the stabilizer in his armor, and he shoots very nonchalantly with like one hand, white burst. He was kind of hoping to clear the landing zone for others, but Dietrich already did it. But he keeps shooting. There are some peeps on his motion detector. He keeps shouting orders like to other troopers. We don't have any names for the other troopers, but he's shouting them, giving them orders where to go, where to shoot, to direct his squad, and scoring a few kills for himself. For me it's only 2d10, so
How about BD? It's just giving orders from the rear, is it? Or
No, I think like we hit. They're out. Like Drake has it in hand. He's directing fire and stuff like this. And so I'm on the comms, like making sure all of the other, reporting to the other squad leaders that we've had a contact, that we're engaging now. To everybody report in that their pod came down. Like that they've hit the ground successfully and that they're in movement, and just kind of a quick just sort of check in with all the other squads that everybody's on the ground, and and we can get moving, and to tell them report in if you come across anything unusual. Otherwise, and also this is some really thick jungle, and ambushes are likely. So to not worry too much about fire discipline. We're far enough away, and the vegetation in between squads is thick enough that whatever the minimal protocol for checking to make sure what we're shooting at isn't one of our guys, whatever the lowest level of that protocol, I'm putting that in effect for everybody on planet here.
Okay. And I think you're probably seeing the first initial stages of radio interference, right? With a thick jungle canopy, it's all a bit scratchy, right? But still doable, right?
Yeah, and I think that realizing that, I'm going to say, presume loss of contact once we get away from the radio beacons, whatever, the radio boosters and the drop pods, that our squad radios may not penetrate the canopy and may be actively being jammed. So presume that you're on your own until you arrived at your designated dust.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so I think you've by the dint of this ambush, you've secured your landing zone. You're 5 minutes later, whatever, you hear some fire coming from one of the other squads in the company, and sometime after that, you make contact with them, and everyone's down relatively safe and sound, and you've established your initial perimeter of control. But no one really seems to have a good idea of where these cat aliens have gone to, right? So some of them had contact.
Sounds like we can't see more than 10 yards in any given direction. That's, that we haven't like literally burned down.
Yeah, I guess the mangrove trees are going to be a little bit resistant to just being, shot to pieces because they're so big, or burning because everything is so damp. But I don't think, I'm not sure if visibility is quite that bad. If you're standing in the drink, you can like see through the roots, right? So
yeah, sure, okay, all right.
Although these things seem to prefer to be out of the water, funnily enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, what's the initial plan to make contact with these aliens again?
So I think.
Yeah, I suppose that after we cleared this landing zone and Sergeant Drakes gives the orders, Corporal Dietrich, please secure the landing zone, and after that, Drake will report to the captain. Captain BD, the landing zone seems to be secured.
Thank you, Sergeant. I've issued orders to the other platoons. We're going to do short perimeter patrols to do surgical probes into the jungle to look for clearings, places that we might expand to. So we're going to keep half our men here at any given time, the other half, and we'll send out, strike teams in the cardinal directions, north, south, east, west, and they'll issue reports and deal with anything that they encounter. So why don't you get our squad ready, and I'll be going out with you.
Sir, it's a pleasure that you are traveling with this squad.
And I salute.
Yes, and Sergeant Drake would call 4 troopers because there are 9, so he would call 4 troopers to stay down, and then address Corporal Dietrich and say, Corporal, please lead
sorry, I just want to make it clear. We are taking the whole squad. It's that like only every other squad is going out.
Oh, okay.
So like we're not splitting the squad in half. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, my mistake. Yeah. Corporal, please take the lead. We are first going north. They seem to be like a high point. We could maybe take a look around the zone.
So yeah, I think Emil is maybe right behind Corporal Dietrich in that initial lead, and Trooper Ariel, who is the trooper who was reading someone else's mail earlier, is alongside Emil, and he's going, well, I think this is the one situation where Captain Beatty doesn't want us to dig a trench, is in this shithole of a swamp. Count those blessings. They don't come along often.
Oh, okay. He's big on trenches then.
I mean, they saved our lives a few times, right? And if we've had to defend somewhere, but I brought my entrenching tool anyway because you never know. I'm not going to leave it behind. I mean, can you imagine if you did an inspection and I didn't have my entrenching tool? I couldn't say we're definitely not going to be digging because, that kind of stuff doesn't fly.
Yeah, and I think Emil, he hasn't figured out what equipment is typically useful and not. So he's carrying everything according to regulation. So he's probably got a lot of stuff that's not really useful that the veterans typically leave behind or have improvised better versions of. But he's carrying the standard kit, and so he's probably thinking a bit deeper into the swamp than many of the others.
Yeah, so like what's usually I think like troopers have stuff on their equipment list like a mitt and ball, like a baseball glove that you can use to waste time in between the fights. So it might be just hanging off your rear belt. And well, if you want to play ball with the captain, you go right ahead. Just give him a heads up first. and obviously don't make sure it's not a grenade, right? You're throwing at them.
Okay. And Emil can't read. He can't tell if this is a joke or not. He's just not. He's not going to try to guess.
Okay. So, yeah, you're doing this big, slow push. If after maybe an hour of trolling through this jungle, things are starting to get really hot. Like you can hear the mandelbite armor start to overheat a little bit with the effort of taking the moisture out, and those visors are fogging up, and some people have started opening them and maybe smoking to keep away the bugs then that get in. So it's a no-win situation really when it comes down to it. And yeah, it's getting a bit dark. And I think the first thing you notice, as it starts to get dark, is like someone, maybe it's Trooper Ariel says, you can't be seeing stars. It's way too, like the canopy is too thick for that. And then like out in the distance, you see those cat's eyes glinting at you. So let's roll for dominance. So if you want to roll, or if you don't want to roll, just say you don't want to roll. Because if you think your non-fighting ability is too low to take the chance, you might want to stay out, but otherwise you can stay in. So
with the caveat being, if you don't roll, and there's an ambush, you don't get to act in the ambush. Is that how that works? Is it?
No.
Or what's the no? You can still.
Yeah. So it's so I guess you want all. So if you get all successes and the aliens don't, you get to ambush them.
Yeah.
So that's a reason to keep your low rolls out, or your low NFAs out. But then again, if you want to maximize your chances of having any success at all, obviously the more rolls.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
So it's a bit of a balancing act. Do you think you're good enough to ambush these guys or not? So yeah, everyone who wants to, you can just roll your NFA, and you're looking for. It'll tell you, but you're looking for your roll or lower on the D10.
And if we beat the aliens, we can set our own range, right? Is how that works.
We'll get to it on the roll. Basically.
Oh, okay.
It depends who rolls better, right?
So I've got a before. I'm not sure if this is a role-playing thing or is this play effectively thing.
I mean, it's a little bit of both, as in most mechanics, right? You can say, Spunkmeyer is definitely one to get involved and to try to do his best to get these aliens, or you can say he's on point or he's near point and therefore he is getting involved anyway, or you could say I'm going to hold off, right?
Yeah, and I think the other thing we need to do is, and I think we've done this in the past, is we all decide whether we're rolling or not.
Yeah.
We say 3, 2, 1, and we all roll at the same time, so that we can't like game it to say, well, nobody made it, so I should go like that. It's you got to decide.
I haven't seen anyone else's roll, so
you rolled first, so yeah. So we've got.
Usually I would just say if you're not going to roll, just say you're not going to roll, and then everyone else rolls.
I'll hold off on rolling. Spunkmeyer is following everyone else's lead. He's not taking point.
My non-fighting ability's garbage, so I will wait until somebody else starts shooting.
So I think me and Pablo, you rolled for Drake, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So we got 2 hits.
Yeah. So
and I think the aliens missed.
Yeah, there's your ambush. I rolled a 9. So yeah, you get to the highest successful roll, which is BD, gets to set the range for everyone.
Near.
I suppose near is the best. So I suppose we would see again from Sergeant Drake perspective, he gets some beeps on his motion detector, and he kind of like maybe like sends someone forward, and then everyone else to go around, and even if the aliens are above us, he tells to everyone, guys, Dietrich and Spunkmeyer, stick to the trees. The other 4 flank to the left. Let's get close, but not too close.
Okay, so yeah, everyone gets to roll their kills then. So we can do it. It doesn't matter. So we can do it in rank order if you want.
Cool. I'll start. I've got my pistol out, and I think what my orders are: start low and drive them up. Because at some point they're going to hit the top of those trees and they can't go anywhere, and then we can just cut them to ribbons. And so that's what we do. We kind of start by like, hitting them, below where we can see those eyes coming. And as they start to flee upwards, even if they like turn away so we can't see those eyes, we know that just cutting the trees up is gonna get us what we want here. So I'm gonna roll 2d6. I got 6.
So there's no special effect because we ambush.
There is.
We're gonna wipe them out. Is our special effect?
Okay.
The special effect is that you don't need to roll to hit them, right? So you dominate, and you're not rolling. You're not testing your fighting ability then as normal combat. Maybe you'll just have a clean sweep on this planet. You never have to roll fighting ability, but I'm sure the luck will turn soon. So the first one,
because it requires us to hit and the aliens to miss, which that's
pretty rare.
That's I think this is the first time we've ever had one that wasn't drop pod related, at least since I've been playing.
We've had a couple.
Okay.
Each, yeah. We'll do. This encounter will be over pretty quickly because of that ambush. So.
So from Sergeant Drake, we see that he was experimenting with linking his MG to the motion detector to be sort of like a smart gun, and it's like, and he says like, okay, MG, activate active tracking, and we see the hand stabilizer, and the gun is like going like peek 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 peek. But there's like plenty of bullets still miss, but like the few really get those dots on the motion tracker. So yeah, as the ammo belt runs empty, we see a couple of the cats falling from the trees. Let's see how many. Yeah, apparently motion tracker works excellent. So
It's super effective. Yeah.
Okay. How about Dietrich? You're muted, Bucket.
Because I let my dice do the talking for me. It's 92.
So what does that torrent of carnage look like?
Hmm. You ever seen a food processor grinding beef with the lid off?
And
Guns
with the accompanying smell of just gore, I presume.
I believe you meant the sweet perfume smell of gore.
That's it. And lastly, how about Emil?
Yeah, I think Spunkfire is taken aback by this brutal carnage. That's everything that's just exploding around him. So he's a bit in shock, and then he starts firing. But as soon as he picks target, it explodes, and because someone else shot it. So he manages to pick off a couple of sprays, but that's about all he managed to contribute.
Okay, yeah. So, and I think with that top-notch e-cannon explosion of carnage, I think you've proven that the swampy mangrove can be set alight, with particular attention, right? So there's one of them is flaming, where you pretty much sawed it in half with the
at least the tops of the trees, if nothing else.
yeah. Okay, so we take a break there, I think. Yeah, we say back in 10, if that suits. So back at past. Okay,
sure.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I think it's a warm night, right? After this encounter,
Mm-hmm.
there's bits of burning debris all over the place, and I think you have to rig some bivouacs up in the trees, which probably helps you get a radio reception, because command are going to give you your new mission for the morning. But maybe let's see how things go during the night. Yeah, what's Emil up to, or how does he get through the night?
Well, he has not opened up his helmet, because that's not how you're supposed to do this, and he too worried about doing something wrong and getting dressed down or something. So he's following regulations as well as he knows them, which may not all that well all the time. So he's miserably sweaty and stinky inside his armor. Probably not sleeping very well, hopped up on adrenaline and everything. Jumping at shadows, but at least not waking up to wildly fire his weapon at nothing. But not much better than that.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I think Ariel alongside you is probably your polar opposite. He has not only popped his visor, but probably taken his helmet off entirely, and is smoking him like there's no tomorrow. You know, and I think, you know, half of the water that he's drinking is just getting poured into the suit, you know, to cool him down. You know, and he's got a little funnel opened in his boot to drain out the excess. So every kind of old-time trooper book trick being used here to help make him more comfortable. How about Dietrich?
Eating some MREs, curled up with my web cannon, sleeping like a baby.
The E-Cannon is sleeping like a baby, or Dietrich?
The E-Cannon is sleeping like a baby. I'm caressing it lovingly and whispering so sweet nothings into its ears.
Awesome. Drake.
I'm trying to picture it. Do we assume that we just spend night in the wilderness, or do we like break for like a bigger camp, or do we just like us armors in the forest? What are we thinking?
Yeah, we're just out in the woods. Did we? So we struck out for like some high ground. Did we make it to that high ground, or?
Yeah, I think you can assume you got to that high ground, and maybe that's how things are a little bit drier here. You know.
Yeah.
So I would assume that Sergeant Drake used his armor, maybe like a little jump boost capability and some grappling hook to like get up high on the tree to have like a good vantage point. And yeah, he probably like attached himself to the tree by line, and then set his armor into like observe and standby. And while we see that the camera is just like looking around, he probably is inside his armor playing the arcade game from back in the time where there was some one commanders like running through the jungle shooting some foreign armies, and that's how he spends his night until he kind of like lets go and sleeps. But every couple of minutes he wakes up, just checks that the armor is still looking around, and takes the den up inside the armor.
Cool. How about PD?
Well, we're up out of the swamp and on dry ground now, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to oversee digging some trenches and making us some fortifications here. So I presume everyone has their entrenching tool. So we'll just, I'm assigning 2-hour shifts. Doesn't need to be fancy. We just, like 2-foot deep trench, pile it up on a berm in front, and then that's enough that you can squat down in it and, get a defensive position. And so
I'm sure there's one poor trooper who has forgotten or left his entrenchment tool behind. Who's that unfortunate trooper?
Trooper Mutt, M-U-T-T. Since Mutt has to is going to need someone else's entrenching tool, he's going to have to dig for their shift too. So I take I take a pack of smokes and I rip one in half and I put the rest of them in my hand like this and I hold them out to everybody else and everybody picks one. And whoever, pulls the short one, they give Mutt their entrenching tool and they get his rest cycle and he's got to dig for both of them.
That is cruel and unusual and definitely worthy punishment. So yeah, I think
and I really want it to be like we can actually draw lots, but I would love it if it was like Spunkmeyer's buddy there, who I don't want to get caught without my entrenching tool.
Okay.
Like if he pulls the short cigarette and is like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And then
that works for me.
Yeah, and then and they can all, they can smoke them because I don't smoke. So this is a thing, like whenever there's a shit job, this is how I resolve who ends up doing it.
Okay.
And nobody can bitch.
Yeah. So I think everyone should roll non-fighting ability to see how good their trench is. I think you have some terrible trenches. I mean, it's yeah. I think let's have everyone describe how bad their trench is and what's okay. Actually, let's everyone describe how bad their trench is, and then the captain, upon inspecting them, will tell you what's really wrong with them. So let's start with Emil.
Yeah. Emil has his helmet on and is fogging up, so he can't really see properly. And he's with his big gloves, gauntlets. He can't quite hold the tool properly. And there's these big trees with the thick roots going everywhere, making it difficult to dig. So basically, he's maybe gotten 1 foot down instead of 2, and he can barely stand in that part of the trench because there's thick roots going through it. So it's a pretty useless trench. He could lie down in it maybe, and only half of him would be seen.
So BD, what do you say to that trench? You're muted, Jim.
So I come up, Spunkmeyer. Report.
Yes,
report. I say.
Sir, it appears the ground here is quite resistant to.
Spunkmeyer.
Yes, sir.
That device you're holding in your hand, what is it called?
An entrenching tool, sir.
An entrenching tool. Is it called a shovel?
Sir, no, sir.
Is it called a saw?
Sir, no, sir.
Is it called an axe?
Sir, no, sir.
Do you know why? Because it can perform all 3 of those functions if you know how to use it. And I grab the entrenching tool out of his hand, and it's got it's like a spade thing and 1 sharpened edge and 1 serrated edge. And I snack the serrated edge down into one of those roots, and it just catches it. And I give it a hard tug up, and it just zing goes right through the root. And I snap it down on the other side of the root, and I give it a hard tug up, and the root just kind of whoop, just pops up and plops next to him. And I just take and then I just whunk, thunk the tool into the dirt where I knock the root out. It is an entrenching tool, Spunkmeyer. Use it like a tool.
Sir, yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
And I move on down the line.
Dietrich, what's wrong with your trench, or how did it go digging it?
I got about 1.5 foot down and hit mud. It's just mud. Doesn't matter how much I shovel out, just fills right back up with more mud.
Yeah, so I come along and I look at that, and I kind of drop my foot down in it, kind of squelches. Dietrich, what's the problem here?
More I shovel, more mud comes in, sir.
So maybe what we want to do is keep the mud from coming in, right?
If I knew how, I would, sir.
And I sigh, and like, you actually know how to use an entrenching tool, right? So you've got like
Yes.
the, you know, the
Roots are
you know,
sawed
like,
off.
yeah, the roots are sawed off and all that kind of
dug
stuff
out.
and everything. Yeah,
It's just mud.
exactly. And I say, look, Dietrich,
Sir.
use what you've got. And I grab the entrenching tool, and I do that thing where like you snap it so that the blade is, you know, going sideways to the, you know, instead of going straight, it's going sideways. And I just take a wide swing and I go hunk, and I've got like 3 or 4 of those, and I like take 3 or 4 of those roots and I say, grab those roots.
Sir.
And I say, oh, and I say, I know you're used to no one else helping you with that. I say, pointing at the E-cannon. But when you've got a job like this, remember you're in a squad. And I hunk the, you know, like 2 hands hunk it down in there, and I just like draw it back to like drew a big, like, you know, like a 6 or 8 inch divot in the mud, and I say, now line it with the roots before it fills back in.
Sir.
And, you know, he packs them in there in the sides, and that kind of like makes a little, you know, almost like a little wall, right? Kind of using the roots to our advantage instead of, and I kind of, you know, and I sort of squat down and I look at him and I say, not bad. Maybe when all this is over, we can get you a job as a bricklayer.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
And I shake my head like, you know, I kind of sigh exasperatedly because I've told him not to thank me, but I don't say anything. And I, you know, snap the tool back out and I hold it out to him. And walk on down the line to the sergeant.
And it seems that sergeant is still working on. He seems to be doing it much wider than it needs to be. Almost like 2 troopers can fit, and just like one can move behind the next one. But yeah, in the time allotted, he didn't manage to dig it deep enough. Sir, yes, sir, Captain, I'm still in the middle of prototyping this new approach to trenching. I request for more time.
And I kind of stare at him, like for a moment without saying anything. And I kind of lean in and I put a hand on his shoulder and I say, Sergeant, the Corps appreciates initiative, but not creativity. Do you understand the difference between the two? Let me explain. Initiative is doing more of what we've trained you to do in exactly the way that we trained you to do it. Do as much of it as you like. That's initiative. Creativity gets people killed. I understand that sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between the two, but what I need right now is, instead of 1 trench that's a foot deep and 4 feet wide, I would much rather have 2 trenches dug in the regulation manner. In fact, I would say not just me, but everyone up the chain of command would rather have that. Have you ever heard the phrase, Sergeant, that you shouldn't let the perfect be the enemy of the good, or even of the done?
Yes, sir. This idea doesn't seem to be according to regulations. I will I will apply the regulationary deep to it now.
When we return to the brigade, Sergeant, you are more than welcome to post this through the normal suggestion box that I have outside my office. And I will see to it that this is passed up the line, but this is not the time for it.
Captain, sir, I just wanted to get some...
Sergeant, dig your fucking trench, Sergeant.
Yes, Captain.
And I turn and walk away. I'm like eggheads.
So I think Captain Beatty's new nickname is going to be Big Bad Wolf, because these three little troopers didn't weren't up to scratch on their construction efforts. Huh? So yeah, I think you get a note from command from Major Morgan, who wants you to go out hunting and bring back one alive, if that is at all possible. So, regardless of how good or bad your trenches were, you're not staying in them.
Excellent. So, and yeah, we're going to bring one back alive. So the
Captain, sir, permission to speak.
Granted.
We are not equipped to capture enemies alive. This ammunition is lethal. All our ammunition is lethal,
So,
especially corporals.
Step forward, Sergeant.
Sorry, yes, sir. I step forward.
I say, just pop your helmet, Sergeant. And as he's doing this, I reach out and grab the ring under his helmet, step forward, sweep a leg under his, slam him face down into the mud, and then elbow drop onto his back. And I say to the rest of the squad, any questions from anyone?
Yeah, I suppose we hear Sergeant Drake beating, you beat the hand in the mud to show that you are beaten.
Yeah, well, whatever, taps out or something. And I get up and just back to attention, Sergeant.
Sir, Captain, no more questions.
Good. We're bringing at least one of them back alive. So let's go get ourselves a mascot.
Okay, so yeah, I guess the company is going on a big sweep. I guess you need to kill some, but eventually, right, in terms of mechanics, someone will need to say they're going to capture one, and that'll be an NFA check, I guess. And whatever technique you want to describe, I guess, is gonna work if you make the roll. Maybe you've kept some special ammunition from a previous mission or something like that, if you don't want to go whole judo on them.
No, this should be hard. We didn't bring anything for this. This is the first time we've ever been asked to capture something alive. So.
Okay, so so that's a big sweep and clear. The company is spread out in a long string, although you might have a reserve somewhere in case things get serious in the line. But yeah, it's a bit tense, because you never exactly know when things are going to kick off. I guess there's a bit of grumbling, though not from Trooper Ariel, who didn't have to dig a trench. He is quite happy with himself, even if he got only half a cigarette out of it.
Well, because that's the trade-off, right?
So, yes, I think as we were walking, Sergeant Drake would approach the captain and said, Captain, may I have a word?
Go right ahead, Sergeant.
Permission to be creative and show some initiative in capturing the aliens.
If it brings back one alive, permission granted, Sergeant.
Thank you, Captain. Yeah, and I think Drake would like to use the entrenching tool that we described so perfectly to cut some roots and vines and whatever else is there, and perform some and craft some rudimentary lasso with some steel rope inside it, so to help us out in this capture.
Yeah. So I think if you roll NFA now, I think if you get a hit, you'll get a +1 on your NFA to do that capture.
Unfortunately.
Okay. But it's still a lasso. It's just not a game-changing lasso, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I think up the line, maybe fourth squad or something, you hear some gunfire and there's like signs of some encounter up there. So I guess I want whoever is going to roll for this dominance, let me know, and then once everyone has decided, you can all roll.
Not I.
I think Drake would roll. Can I change my weapon of choice to shotgun before the
yeah,
encounter?
so you change your weapon now before any rolling.
Yeah, so I will change the weapon to shotgun so that we can go to short.
And I've got a sidearm ready to go.
Okay, and you're
I'm not rolling.
Okay, so rolling my NFA.
Sorry, Anders, are you rolling for Emil or?
Oh, sorry, I'm not rolling.
Okay, and Jim, I presume you're rolling, yeah.
Yeah, I'll roll for BD. Yeah.
Okay. So the aliens got a success with a 7. We have a success from Drake, a 1, and from BD, a 4. So
aliens are going to go first, though.
The alien's going to set the range.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm going to set you all to far. And we're going to have some fun with these aliens. 5. Sorry, I should have done that before.
Oh, man.
Okay. So, so now everyone describes what they're going to do. The things you can do are just to shoot and try to kill as many aliens as you can. If you want to do something that's fighting ability. If you succeed in your fighting ability roll to shoot and you beat the aliens, you get to change range. 1 band. Non-fighting ability can be used for anything else. So anything that fiction comes to mind. I guess right now, the one that has been primed is to capture one. And then the other option you have on non-fighting ability is to change range as your main action. And so that guarantees it if you make it. Okay. The aliens are always trying to kill you, pretty much. So I don't need to declare that. So the other thing you can do with non-fighting ability is to change your weapon. So if you are at a range and you don't think you can get close enough with a specific weapon, you're in trouble and you might want to change weapon. You can always automatically change to a close combat weapon like hand-to-hand or a sword or something like that if you have it, or grenades. At the moment, grenades are out of range, but still something you could change to if you wanted to. Okay, so let's go through rank-wise and get everyone's declarations.
So we're like they've got us at long range. I am going to I've got my sidearm out and I'm just going to duck and just kind of move through the brush and everything, and Anders Dietrich, lay down some cover fire. And I'm just changing range.
Okay. Drake.
I think we see Drake shout to Trooper Mutt. Trooper Mutt, cover fire on this angle, and yeah, and Drake is also going to charge in like tree to tree, from tree to tree to close in on the bugs.
Okay. Dietrich.
Is suppression fire actually a thing?
I think that's just flavor, right?
Okay.
If he makes the roll, he has gotten Mutt to cover him on the way in. So it's mechanically it's not a thing. It's just a fictional representation of that
All right.
NFA check.
In that case, I'm going to do exactly what the captain said, provide cover fire, but I'm also going to move forward because that is, well, exercising initiative, which is also what the captain said.
Okay. So everyone's charging. How about Emil? Are you the only one with a weapon effective at this range? I think you might be.
Oh, and I do like, yeah, I do 1d6, right?
Yeah. Whereas I think
Yeah.
everyone else's default weapons do nothing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he wanted cover fire, and I can provide cover fire, so I will do that. I will shoot.
Okay. So everyone make so if you're changing range, you're rolling NFA. If you're shooting, you are rolling FA. So we're looking interesting here. Okay, so I've got okay. So Drake gets to go first with a 7. So you make your range change. Why don't you describe how that goes?
So I assume that aliens are effective at range and at melee.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. There's no mechanical difference. They can kill you whatever range.
Yeah. I'm just like making sure how to involve it in my description. So I think we see Drake get to the first tree, and then Trooper Mutt is like spraying on the enemies he sees, and then we see Drake run to the next tree, and then again Mutt is spraying, and Drake is firing his shotgun as well, but we see the pellets not even making any hits, just like clearing the way for him to run from tree to tree.
Okay, cool. So yeah, these aliens, they're a bit tricky now that you've finally seen them in action, right? So they're really fast, and they seem to be using like these throwing knives, but other times they are just getting in real close and just cutting with those knives, and they are really fast. Faster than the speeding bullet. It would seem like initially. So they're inflicting a kill on everyone who hasn't gone yet. So everyone except Drake. So that everyone is fine because no one has taken any damage yet. But what that means is you'll be marking in a mess. You can, if you sorry, actually, but before I say that, Anders, you were rolling fighting ability, and because you missed, I'll introduce this rule to you. It's the first time it's come up. You can, whenever you roll, whenever you want to re-roll your fighting ability, you can hit some combat drugs, and this gives you a re-roll on fighting ability. The downside is if you roll a 10, you take a hit from it, so you would be taking additional. But it might actually, if you roll a better success or a success at all, you'd be doing damage and you might escape harm from the aliens. So it's up to you whether it's one use per planet. But then again, we're probably in encounter 3 of 4 or 5. So you're
hit that stim pack, man.
Hit that, yeah. Hit those combat drugs. They almost always work.
I don't think I will do it now. Spunkmeyer, he's too busy shooting and missing and being stressed out by the whole situation to remember that he even has
Okay.
those drugs available.
Okay, so everyone except Drake takes a kill, so they should be a mess. As part of that action, the aliens are going to drag everyone else in. So that's the end of the turn. Yeah, so I'm not going to bother doing that. Okay, so yeah, those knives are sharp. They find some weakness in your armor. Any trooper who has their visor up or whatever probably ends up with a knife in the face. It's pretty messy, all right. Okay, so yeah, everyone. So then we have BD, your action.
Yeah, change range.
Yeah.
And BD is like, I think BD doesn't actually get hit by the knives. He gets like smoked by a round from Dietrich's E-cannon, because like he says cover fire, and when he says cover fire, he means I am going to crawl like on the ground with my helmet just above the water, right, as you shoot over my head. So like Drake is doing all this like tree to tree, and I'm just like duck walking, like water, like remember Martin Sheen in Apocalypse Now with the like just in the water like that. And I think BD is doing that. He's down, and at one point, whatever, like his shoulder gets clipped by an E-cannon round, but that's okay. He just keeps going.
Okay, and then we have
Moving in.
Dietrich. You're muted, Puppet.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm going to roll for combat ability.
No, you're moving in, right? You're
Yeah, I'd already
advancing.
done that, I thought.
No, we're waiting. So we're just going through this turn in order.
Okay. So we're at near range now?
Well, yeah, I'll drag your counter in near, and then you get to describe what that looks like.
Gotcha.
And maybe the hurting you take from the aliens too.
Well, I'm basically just moving forward carefully, moving cover to cover, tree to tree, laying down suppressing fire, and ensuring that I am following through with exactly what BD told me to do. So shooting high, because, well, they tend to be in the trees. And I think what happens in terms of getting made a mess is that I just get really, really hit by those knives, and they just come into contact with the armor, and I wind up getting bruised up a lot. Like when I take this armor off, I'm going to be black and blue. And I think that's what the damage actually comes from, is just sheer kinetic impact.
Okay, cool. Maybe these guys' knife missiles are more like the culture knife missiles, but they're so fast. Okay, and then Spunkmeyer, you're missing with your shot, but you still get to give us some flavor, in terms of what's going on.
Yeah, he's firing irregularly. He's worried about hitting the captain, so he's aiming a bit too high instead of doing this proper covering fire. And then he takes one of those knives to like part of the life support system, So his cooling isn't working properly, so he's getting really, really warm and sweaty in his armor, and that's what's messing him up. And so now his visor is completely fogged up. He has to pull it back, and he's getting all these bugs and stuff in his face. So he's not having a good day.
Okay, and so anyone I beat, I'm gonna change range for. So yeah, I'm gonna push BD back out to far, and I'm gonna pull Dietrich into near. And I think this is kind of maybe the first time that you spot the special ability, a hint of the special ability of these aliens, though I'm not using it mechanically speaking, but these cat guys can actually like zip through space. So like you very specifically see one, right in front of you, and then it's gone and appears 100 meters over on the other side of the battlefield. And it's the same one, right? Because it's holding Mutt's head, right? With that serrated knife in its hands, bloody. So yeah, that's the first time you see that special ability in action. Okay, so next round, I guess we get everyone to declare their action again.
Just for the clarification, how does it change when you attack and you can change the range then? Do I have to roll still below my ability but higher than your roll? How does it work then?
Yeah, exactly. So when you're using your fighting ability to shoot, at the end of the turn, you can, if you succeeded and roll higher than your enemy, so higher than me, you get to change range as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're rolling FA instead of NFA.
Yeah. So, Captain BD, what's the plan?
Oh man, this is frustrating. It just knocked me right back to where I was. Let me see here. Sorry, give me just a sec. Like I feel like I gotta try closing in on them again. I gotta like damn it, and they're all around. Yeah, and I think I you know what? I'm actually I think I don't have that. I have a. Yeah, I'm gonna switch weapons. Is what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
This is not working.
Okay, Sergeant Drake, what's your action?
I'm just wondering to what extent or what can be achieved via non-fighting ability.
Anything that's not shooting.
Yeah, mm-hmm. So like usually, obviously, if it seems fictionally useful, make a roll for it, and then usually mechanically, either it achieves something significant and you can take a +1 on your next roll, or give a +1 to someone else. So if you're setting something up or getting a tactical or some kind of advantage, that's usually how we use it in a combat situation, in an encounter.
Okay, so I think since I see the Corporal Dietrich has some of the bugs close to him, I think I'm apart from shouting whole team to close the visors, troopers, use the trees to block up the knives, and so on and so on. I think we will see Drake just like talk to Dietrich. Dietrich, I'm going to cut off some of the enemies to give you a chance with them in close range. And I think I'm going to try to use this cover fire that we mentioned so that Dietrich can have, if he decides to, can have better time fighting off the aliens or capturing some since he's so close. So I'll try to set him up by providing some cover fire for him.
Okay.
Does make sense?
Yeah. So this is usually going to be for next turn, right? For his following action, right?
Sure.
Okay. Dietrich.
Shooting.
So your E-cannon is ineffective at close range, so you're really just looking for a free range change, right?
I thought I was at near range now.
You are. That was your action, but then they pulled you in even closer.
Yeah, I'm trying to change range.
Aliens are assholes, you know.
You can switch to hand for free.
You can switch to hand or grenades for free.
Or grenades.
And I do have that power
grenade.
claw.
Yeah.
That's right. You've got a power claw now. Yeah.
Oh goodness gracious! What am I going to do?
So you're going to sling the E-cannon and take out the claw.
Nah, grenades.
Grenades. Okay. And no one else at the moment is in close, so you're not going to take anyone else down with you. Okay. And Anders, how about Emil? Keep shooting.
Yeah, sticking close to the captain because he obviously knows exactly what he's doing. So sticking close to him and firing.
Okay. So
and closing the visor because that's what Sergeant said.
Okay, cool. So let's all roll. Ouch. Aliens are on fire today. Okay, so
oh Jesus, they're like
they're chewing you up. So does anyone want to use combat
like,
drugs?
They're like 8s or something like that.
They are 8s, yeah.
Harsh.
Anyone want to use combat drugs to get a reroll, or how are you doing?
I used NFA, switching
okay,
weapons.
Yeah, sorry,
NFA,
sorry. Combat drugs is only for fighting ability rerolls, so I think Puckett.
Dietrich could.
Be able.
I might as well.
What are the odds of 2 10s in a row?
Well, the odd of a 10 now is 10%, but you know.
Stop it! That's not how that works.
Okay, so aliens go first.
100, right? It's 10. It's 10 times 10. Much better.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, so the aliens kill everyone. So again, here is the first time it's been relevant. So whenever you take damage, you can put it on your armor instead. Okay. So in between encounters, you heal 1 of those damage. So it's never really worth your while taking a messy on your armor. But now this one is crippled. So the armor is 1 use per planet as well. So, you know, it's up to you whether you want to take it on the armor. So yeah, these aliens are.
You should probably also, for the benefit of people that have not played before, explain strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah,
and how timing on that works, and how if you're about to mark armor, you may go, you know what, fuck this, I'm going to use one of these. So
yeah, so whenever you want to, you know, if things are going south for you at any point. Like after rolling, before rolling, whenever, like right now, you can say, you know, screw this for a game of soldiers. I am using a strength or weakness to get out of this. A strength basically wins the encounter. You win it single-handedly. You remove all threat tokens in the encounter. You roll kills as per your best range with your current weapon. You describe a flashback, either in boot camp or on a previous planet or back in your childhood, whatever seems to work best, and then you work that into your description of how you defeat the aliens. A weakness gets you out of here, right? It removes one threat token. You don't do any kills, and you are out of the encounter. You leave everyone else behind, but you're safe, right? Or safer. Those two, like a strength and a weakness, also affect end of planet sequencing. So if you've used a weakness, you could be promoted, or you could be demoted unless you're a trooper already, in which case you can't go any lower. If you use a strength, you can be promoted. Okay. It's also worth saying that the lowest ranked character, being a trooper, can also use a special power once per planet called Force Weakness. They can use it on any character of a higher rank than, or any character. Usually it's the highest ranked character because they get all the hate. And you can basically force them to use a weakness. So you force them out of the encounter, maybe you open them up for demotion. So that's a possibility. You could also get rid of someone who's stealing all your kills, if that comes to that. So yeah, you've got a lot of strings to your bow in terms of winning an encounter. I guess it's, you have a limited number of them, right? At the start, you only have one strength and one weakness. So it's like, am I going to die here? Will someone else use a weakness to get rid of that last threat token? It's a bit of, sometimes it's a game of chicken, and sometimes people talk about how they're going to play it. And either way is fine. Any level of metagaming is fine. So at any point in time, you can just say, I'm using a strength, and that's that. So no one can gazump your strength usage. No one can decide to use a strength after you and then get their way. So, holler if you want to do that. But otherwise, these aliens are inflicting a kill on you all. So bringing you all down to crippled unless you take it on the armor. And yeah, now I think you're starting to see these guys get up to full speed. They are zipping in, with very little mercy in terms of slicing and dicing through those weak joints or like jamming knives in your armor's air vents or whatever. So it's it's pretty serious.
Is that before or after my grenade goes off?
That's before your grenade goes off.
Okay.
So that is them on an 8. So then we go through everyone else from high success. So Anders Smunkmeyer, you get to go on a 5.
Yeah, sorry, I had a question.
Yep.
Is there any mechanical effect to being crippled, or is it just?
It sounds really bad because you're one step away from death, right?
But there's no.
There's no extra
penalty, right?
mechanical effect. Yeah.
You can have fun narrating it.
Yeah.
But doesn't mess with your dice.
Yeah, I'm going to mark here. Crippled. Yeah. Okay. So I succeeded on my roll.
Yeah.
So I should roll kills.
Yeah. So you should roll d6 kills with your slug rifle.
Yeah. So Spunkmeyer is following the captain and firing and firing and firing and firing, and he's taking his armor is overheating and he's being half cooked inside it, and he's got these 2 bugs that was inside when he flipped the visor down again, and they're stinging him in the face and are very irritating. But he's got his discipline has kicked in, and he's actually hitting some targets.
Okay. And then we have B on a 4. So you get to change your weapon.
And you know, my pistol goes into my, you know, my like crossbody holster here, and you know, my regulation slug rifle comes out, and you know, I'm sighting down the sight on it.
Okay. And then Puckett on 3.
I toss my grenade, it goes off, and it kills a bunch of bugs. Just
It
splatters
should
them.
kill D10 unless you've improved it.
You can improve grenades?
You can improve grenades.
I gotta
They're
get on that.
a weapon like any
Yeah.
other. Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, you can improve your fists too, you know, if you want to go all pulp action hero on them, you know.
That's 7 bugs.
7 bugs.
And I'm actually going to invoke a weakness here.
Okay. You're getting out of dodge, huh?
Yeah. And I think what happens is Dietrich in his excitement and tossing the grenade and trying to get to cover, trips over a root, knocks himself cold when he hits his head on another root when he falls over, and is just laying in the muck.
Okay. So what's the flashback we see on that?
I did the same damn thing when I was a kid. I grew up in a swampy area, and I used to run around in the swamps, and sure enough, when I was a kid, I was running around and jumping and playing tag with some friends. Next thing you know, trip over a root.
Okay.
Fall, crack my head on a root, damn near drowned. I was under the water for a little bit. Might explain some things.
Okay. So, what do we call this? Play dead, maybe?
Knocked cold.
Knocked cold. Okay. So
Just for clarification, does it mean that Dietrich is out of the encounter?
he is out of the encounter. So usually that should replace the effect of the roll. Okay.
No, because
Okay.
he did it after the roll,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. If I were Puckett, I would have done it before the roll, so I didn't take a kill. Right.
But he's taking a kill to remove 2 tokens.
Yeah. I know that. I'm just saying. Usually, people would do it that way.
Okay, so I misunderstood that then, because I thought I could use that as part of my roll to avoid the second kill.
So the kill you just took in the second combat round?
Yeah. So there's 4 threat tokens remaining, correct?
Yeah. So, like, do you want to do that so you don't get killed in this current combat round? So you're like maybe throwing your grenades for flavor, but you're not inflicting kills, and you're just getting out of there without taking a kill. Or do you want to do both? You want to take the kill, throw the grenade, kill 7 guys, and then get out.
What's the effect on the number of tokens on the board?
Using the weakness removes a threat token.
So you remove a threat token for hitting him with the grenades, and you remove a second one for using the weakness. And Spunkmeyer removed 1 because he shot him up, so there'd be only 2 left.
You know what? Yeah, let me do it before the grenade takes effect.
Okay. So I'm removing 1 for the weakness. Okay. we're scratching those 7 kills, but you're out and safe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
And I didn't actually add them. So
and yeah, so in future, if you want to use it, you got to use it before the aliens record the kill on you.
gotcha.
Like once you've put it on your sheet, then it's there. And if you
Yeah,
want
I
to use it, yeah, it's a
Yeah, I
timing.
hadn't actually put it on the sheet, so
Mhm. Like as soon as the aliens act, we take the kill. Like right that second. It's not like we owe them a kill at the end of the round. But like bam, we immediately take it.
gotcha.
Do we have to use weakness before our roll as well, or can we roll and then wait for donor roll?
Yeah, you can see the results of the rolls, and then you can say, I'm using strength
Absolutely.
now because
Yep.
I'm going to die or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
So, in some ways, right, strengths and weaknesses break the rules a little bit. You can like time them exactly, and so like I'm happy to be generous and I don't want to punish you for thinking things worked a different way.
Yeah, you get an extremely limited number of them.
Yeah.
Which is the balancing thing.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can only use one per planet. So I think,
no,
right?
you can use any.
Oh wow! If you've got them, okay, all right,
yeah,
cool.
Spend if you got them, but obviously, like over the course of a character, you only get 5.
Yeah, of each. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So that was Dietrich on a 3, and then we have Drake on an 8 with a fail.
Yeah, so Drake was trying to fire around Dietrich, trying to secure him a position. Obviously, the aliens were all around his position, and then so the grenade, and then the grenade went off. So I think Drake stopped firing for a moment and it's like taking it in that Dietrich died or blew himself up or something like this. And is considering what to do in the next round.
Okay.
And also he feels the first stings of the knives. Now he sees that even with closed visor, the sting can pierce the armor. So.
Okay, so at the end, I'm going to change range. I'm going to change range on Drake. I'm going to bring him in close. And I'm going to change range on BD, and I'm going to bring him out of range entirely. So he is out of the encounter. So now it's Drake and Spunkmeyer left without their killing machines.
Oh wow, we are doomed to quickly die.
Well, of course, maybe you're doomed to spend a strength, right? Yeah. Or see how the rolls go. You could win this single-handedly, or
because he can miss. He's got a 1 in 5 shot of missing. So
it's true. It's true.
Yeah. He hasn't missed yet. Oh, except once, except for our ambush. So yeah.
Yeah. This is revenge for the ambush. Okay, so I guess I think what happens to explain how they're pushing BD out is he's back and he's got his rifle and he's given up trying to close range, and then slowly they are like zipping out of range and then just like pulling the troops in further and further away from his.
We're losing unit cohesion is what's happening right now. Yes, yeah.
And because of their ability, they can like zip in and outflank you pretty easily. Okay, so what are you doing, Drake?
Yeah. Well, 2 of us. I have horribly poor stats for fighting. Yeah. Let's use it. It might be interesting. So I think I'm going to use a strength because why not? So I think we see, I think we see Erhard Brandes in his like lab coat uniform somewhere in some like laboratory. It's I think we maybe see the like doctor over there written and not like sergeant. And it's clearly like a weapon invention laboratory. So I think we see this like suits that are our armors now, and then we see him working over the connecting all of the input for the soldier and like the possibility of like taking over the soldier when he panics, and that the armor has some AI that he like takes over and fights. And we see the experiment actually went horribly wrong because the armor is tested and it like kills everyone in the room, not only the threat targets, and we see like the file on the desk like project cancelled. But then we are back to this forest, and Drake sees that he loses the connection with the captain. He's seen Drake like blow himself up or was blown up a moment before, and he like browse the files on his armor, and he finds the file like prototype 5A, and he like presses deactivate, and we see like the interface like is gone, and then like it's back online, but it's like a Terminator mode now. We see like all kind of scanning, and then the shotgun, and then the MG into hand. The hand is like go crossroads, firing on all of the targets. And then we see maybe, can I like narrate capturing one of them at the end or not?
Why not? It's a strength, you know. I mean,
Yeah,
you get all of the candy. You'll get all the goodies.
So now that the Drake have cleared the foliage and the trees, and we see like the total war zone, the bugs killed, exploded, and everything, and like one last of them is trying to escape, and then Drake just he doesn't go for his lasso, but he just engages the grappling hook, and he just like says, try to escape this, and we see like the grappling hook just like flies in and just like wraps around the last of the alien that was trying to escape. Yeah, so I think I'm going to write this trend as Mad Inventor.
I mean, Mad Professor, you know.
Mad Professor, Mad Doctor, because he was doctor, or like,
okay,
Mad Doctor.
And so, sorry, were you using the shotgun or the MG?
I had my shotgun gun.
Okay,
equipped,
so you get to roll the best rating for damage for that weapon, regardless of the range.
Once or per token?
Just once. Okay, so that is 5 kills. Okay. And let's, do we get a reaction shot from Emil on that too?
Yeah, he's still firing, and then this then Drake goes into this Terminator mode and just killing everything. So he's just gradually he's lowering his rifle and just watching in awe at this massive carnage. And when Drake comes back with a live captured alien, he's very impressed and like following him around and trying to be part of this great victory.
I think you know, one thing maybe you've noticed, right, by observing the battlefield, right, is that these aliens can like do that, you know, zipping in line of sight, right? So if they can see it, they can zip to it. So maybe like pull a hood on over this alien so he can't see his way out of trouble.
Oh no, we don't need to do that. We just pump him, like we've got 3 or 4 dead troopers. We just grab their med packs and just pump him so full of like painkillers that he's just out of it.
I mean, yeah, I think introducing human medicine into an alien physiognomy could have no possible downside, right?
No.
What do you think, Dr. Drake?
Whatever Captain says, that's what we do. Like, come on, man, give this thing the morphine and whatever painkiller to there.
Yeah.
Whatever Captain says.
Keep it out. Keep it out. We want to. Yeah. Blindfolded and unconscious.
Do you want to make an NFA check for that?
Oh, do I?
Yeah. Maybe you don't, but you should.
No, I don't. But I will.
This is exactly what my children say whenever I ask them what do they want to do something.
Nope.
Okay. I mean, the combat drugs finally rolled a 10, huh?
Fantastic.
So yeah, he's.
Oh my God, that's right. Because like if one of our guys rolls a 10 on the combat drugs, they take a kill. So yeah.
So this cat is being real quiet, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay. Yeah. So, I guess the battle is won by Drake. He drives them off and kills half of them. And where do we find Dietrich? Or who finds Dietrich hiding from these aliens?
I'm still face down in the muck.
So yeah, maybe Trooper Ariel is like flipping corpses to collect dog tags, and then he flips Dietrich. And then I think maybe what wakes or what gets Dietrich's real attention is when Ariel takes the E-cannon, right? Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been dreaming about this baby for months.
You best keep dreaming. You touch Betsy, I'll put a hurt on you, son.
Oh, Corporal, you fell asleep there, huh?
No. Hit a root. Saw it coming up to my face when the grenades went off. What a miss.
I mean, you were lying there for so long, the roots must have been growing through you. I don't think I've ever seen
Did they?
a corporal lose their nerve like that. I thought you guys were supposed to be front and center, bravest of the brave.
Where the hell were you? Besides getting your candy ass not shot at.
Well, I wasn't fucking hiding. But you can take that up with the captain. So, yeah. So, yeah, you bring back this captured cat alien. The special studies group aren't impressed. It's like, okay, unharmed, but I'm no expert on this alien physiology, but this one looks dead. No obvious wounds, but I don't know. Maybe they died of fright. What you think? What you think, Captain?
So is this someone I know from? Is this the guy that I talked to before, or?
Yeah. Let's let me remember my name. for Special Studies Group. This is Colonel Oyako, who is the head of it. I think they came down because you'd achieved the mission, captured an alien, and they wanted to put eyes on us.
I say, well, I'm not a specialist, Colonel. It could be that they have something in place that allows them to end their own lives to avoid capture. I don't know. I'm sure that you'll figure it out when you take them apart.
I'm sure. Well, this isn't quite alive and kicking, but I guess it's better than nothing.
Other squads are still out there, sir. It's possible they may bring one back as well.
I know, but you're a go-getter. You usually come through for us, Captain.
I am. Can I ask your advice as a specialist, sir?
You can ask.
And I describe what we've seen them do. And if he has any theories as to a field countermeasure that we might just jerry-rig, what that might be. From the available kit that we've got.
I don't know, flares, really bright flashlights. I mean, obviously, harming vision is useful in most respects, but if they have to be able to see it and focus on it, then maybe break that.
Noted. Thank you, sir.
Okay, well, we'll see what we can do. If you do get a chance to capture one alive and kicking, that would be good.
So a reminder that everybody gets to heal up one.
Yeah, so in between encounters, everyone heals 1 level of damage. So if you were crippled, you're now a mess. If you're a mess, you're now fine. If you were dead, you're still dead. But
and if your armor took a hit, it's still
your armor doesn't heal or recover till the end of the planet.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think you brought in one of these. So you're like in maybe the battalion command base. All the other companies and platoons are still out fighting. So you just come back for this one job. And I think Major Morgan pokes his head out of the tent and says, got a pretty worrying report from one of the other battalions. One of the assault company, Major Chen, went MIA. And they just found some bits of him lying all over the place, and they found his rank insignia. So I don't know if these cats are attracted to shiny things, or they're just trying to lop off the head of the brigade by killing officers. But I think it's best we keep you here as insurance against any such attack on this command HQ.
So noted. Major, would you like us to start preparing some defensive fortifications?
Well, I'll leave those details to you, Captain, but you better stay loaded for bear if they're going to try to rush us or try to zip in,
All right. And so I'm going to go back to the squad, and I'm going to say they're going to keep us here. It sounds like these bugs may be smart enough that they are going to try a decapitation strike on the brigade. So our job is to stand between them and the major. Spunkmeyer, you've got one job, and that is to know where the major is at all times and be able to tell me when I ask you, do you understand?
Oh, yes, sir.
All right, Sergeant, Corporal, let's get those entrenching tools out.
Sir, yes, sir.
And, oh, you know what? I think I'm gonna get together with the two of you. Sergeant Brandis, Drake. You know what? I call people, like everybody else calls people nicknames. I call them by their actual. So Sergeant Brandis, because I'm by the book. Sergeant Brandis.
Yeah. Yes, Captain.
So what we've been able to establish is that these bugs need to see where they're going. So what I'd like is, if we can, and I kind of point along the line of where, actually, you know what, this is like HQ, like, right? This is whatever, like, there's probably like sandbags and shit already set up and stuff like that. We probably don't need to like dig trenches here, right?
Probably not, but you can, I know a few trenches would
or whatever,
not.
like some, sure, you know, whatever. And they've got maybe some like, whatever, Durasteel barriers that they dropped out of the drop ships or whatever, something like this. But what we want to do is, we want to rig some flares on tripwires. And in addition to tripwires, if we could have something that we could detonate ourselves to send the flares up, because we can't be assured that these things are going to actually go over tripwires. A shaped charge or something that if one of us just puts a bullet or an E-cannon round into it, it will send all those flares up. We can blind them, give us the advantage momentarily. Can you set something like that up?
Of course, Captain. Now that we are back to the HQ, there's slightly more resources than I have on my armor. I will go to the field and set such traps.
All right. Let me be clear about one thing here, Sergeant. I was just creative. I need you to exercise initiative now.
Yes, sir. Initiative. Yes.
Get to it.
So, I think, I mean, fictionally, of course, like we can set this up, but I think this is like a prepare defenses kind of NFA check, right? Mm-hmm. So, I guess the question is, do we put all of our eggs in one basket? Drake sets this defense up for everyone, and then everyone will get a +1 bonus on their first roll, or does everyone do it for everyone? Does everyone do it for themselves?
Let me tell you what I'm hoping for, which is that this thing that Drake does is designed to mess with the aliens. So I want it to bump the aliens roll by 1 to give us a shot at them missing. That's what I'm shooting for.
Okay.
And we'll each do whatever our thing is.
So is that on the dominance check or on their first round attack?
You know what? I think it's on the dominance check, because that's what it is. This is when they're coming at us. This is like when the attack happens. So yeah, I want to like if Drake succeeds, I want to bump I want to like +1 to their dominance check, because that, oh no, except that, or whatever. Let us bump it by 1. I
mean, it's a disadvantage
in
for
whichever direction. Yes.
So I'll reduce their score by 1. Right. That's the I think the more correct way to do it, instead of giving a bonus on a die roll. That's how we've done it in the past.
Yeah, I think reduce their roll by 1, which makes it less likely that they'll miss, but more likely that we'll beat them collectively. So.
Okay. So, Pavel, do you want to make that check?
The dice are not with me today. My highest skill and the dice are not with me.
Okay. So, yeah. So I guess we'll do our round table check for who wants to roll or not roll on the dominance check.
Well, I'm rolling my dominance check. Why not?
Okay.
I'm not rolling.
Holy
Uh,
God. Yeah, I'll roll for it. Holy shit.
But I think for this encounter, since we are not expecting to go too
7.
close, I will go for the machine gun.
Okay. Jim, are you staying with your usual sidearm for the weapon?
I'm gonna have my rifle for
Okay.
this because we're not sure how this
Sure.
is gonna rattle out. So if we end up at far range, I want the rifle.
And Anders, I guess the slug rifle is a given, but are you rolling for this dominance check or not?
I think I'm rolling actually, because it seems to be if I keep track of the major or not, and where we are when things start to happen, seems that should be important. So
Yeah, okay.
so I will roll.
Totally fair.
Cool. Okay, so let's check.
Fuck these aliens.
These aliens hate freedom. That is that much is true. At least you got one success, Jim. So it's not an ambush. So where to put you? In close. So they're setting the range at close. Okay. And yeah, combat actions. What are people doing? Jim, you're thinking, or
Wow,
you know you want to go with an orbital bombardment at some stage, right?
There's 7 of them. The major's under threat. He's armored up. We know where he is. Yeah, I'm gonna nuking this from orbit is the only way to be sure. So I'm gonna go with
Orbital bombardment.
orbital bombardment.
Okay. This is when Jim overtakes Dietrich on the kill counter.
Maybe.
Last time I was cruel and I canceled your action, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, because you had that ability. Yeah.
Okay. So how about Drake? What are you planning?
So I assume that the aliens, the trap went off because, let's say, my character was competent, but it went off very late, and the aliens are already close around the encampment. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's the fact that they saw them and maybe one set them off, and then the rest zipped in past the line, right? So it certainly had an effect, and maybe, but there's just so many of them coming from all angles that they weren't significantly affected by it.
Yeah. I'm thinking about my. Well. Yeah, I suppose we see Drake with his MG. He tries to stay behind some. So if the enemies get into the camp, he probably goes and hides behind the Durasteel protection barrier so that his back is to the outside of the camp, and he's shooting into the camp with his MG. Even though it's not the best, he tries to block the enemies with the arm and then just finish them off with the MG. It still does something from the close, so we'll see. Maybe I will get the chance to change the range.
Okay. Dietrich.
Power claws.
Power claws. Okay. And then Spunkmare.
Yeah, I'm not going to risk using grenades because that could go terribly wrong. So I guess I'm just still firing my rifle, trying to protect the major.
Okay, yeah. So,
You know what? Hang on. Spunkmeyer, you still got a strength, right?
Yeah. I was thinking about using it. I'm not sure.
I'm gonna.
It seems like a good spot for it.
So that being the case, I think that I'm gonna. I can switch to Power Claw for free as well. So I'm just gonna power that up and get back to back with Dietrich and just slash stuff up.
okay. So yeah, I mean, it's again, you can wait for the rolls to happen for any kind of strength. So Anders, are you sticking with the rifle for now?
Yeah, it's one kill either way. So.
Okay. So let's roll. So we have a success for the aliens at 7, 1 for BD at 5, and then 3 fails. Anyone want to use their combat drugs?
Sure, why not? Let's how bad can get?
Well, don't roll a 10, I guess.
Nah, didn't work.
Okay.
I think I will do it too. I'll use mine as well.
Okay. Same roll. Okay, so the aliens kill everyone. Take 1 damage. Jim, show us how mean Captain Beatty is with the power claw.
All right, so I'm rolling a d6 on that. So let's see. A single one. And like I think it, like I said, like I'm just keeping stuff off of Dietrich's back mostly. I think I'm not like I'm moving with him and everything, and not aggressively going after stuff. Just kind of defending. And one of them comes right at me, and I manage to just kind of take its face off.
Yeah.
Even as it is jamming a knife into my shoulder, between the plates of my Mandelbrite armor. So.
Yeah, and I think
crippled.
You kind of catch it right as it was going to do like a hit and run, right? So it was stabbing you, and it was just zipping out when your power claw eviscerates it, right? Okay, and everyone else gets to describe their actions. Let's start with Dietrich.
These things are moving too fast, sir. Can't stab them.
Okay, and Emil and Spunkmeyer.
Oh, and since I hit, I can change range, right?
No, you have to hit and roll higher.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, Spunkmeyer is just firing wildly at these aliens coming at him, stabbing him with the knives, and trying to stay in front of the major, and just like pushing him away and just taking all the hits, and getting pretty badly banged up. Actually, oh wait, did I put it on the armor? Put it on the armor. Yeah.
And you did remove one for resting, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm a mess, and now I took a hit on the armor. So all these knives, they're hitting the joints and yeah, messing things up. But it's not me taking damage. So.
Okay. And Drake.
Yeah, I suppose we see Drake trying to fight some of them off in the melee, being hit. It's really hard to bring machine gun to work on such a close range to the enemies. So he's trying his best, but he doesn't get any kills. Before he brings the MG to bear, the enemies are already teleported away. Trying his best, but we can clearly see that he is not at his best today.
Okay.
He feels really exhausted.
Okay, so at the end of that round, I am going to spend a threat token to trigger my ability, and I'm going to move everyone to far. Just because, we have people with power claws, and I hate the brigade. Yeah, okay. So next combat round. Actions.
Yeah, this is when the orbital bombardment is coming.
Okay, so just so we're all aware, orbital bombardment.
Oh, I've got it right in front of me here.
Okay.
This is where the orbital bombardment officers only kills D-1000. This is where the planet is shelled from space by the support vehicles of the brigade. It is a desperate and bloody measure. Every enemy on the planet is killed, and all the PCs take a kill for their trouble. It ignores any armor, so this will automatically turn any PC into, at best, a mess, and possibly render some of them dead if they were already crippled. Oh, I didn't realize it did the ignore armor thing.
But the damage can be avoided with the use of a strength or weakness if you have one available and are
damage can be avoided with the strength of the damage can be avoided with the use of a strength or weakness if the PC has one available and is willing to use it. To call it in, officer rank, I roll it with a success. So I need to get a success in the NFA, and it goes off when my turn triggers, I think is the way that it works. Yeah.
So what's everyone's state of health right now?
Drake is a mess.
Bankmeyer is a mess.
Okay. Dietrich?
I'm a mess.
Okay. So no one's, and you're a mess too, Jim, are you? Or
Oh, I'm crippled.
Oh, you're crippled. Okay. Well, you could end up killing yourself with this one.
I'm not going to.
You have a weakness?
I do.
Okay. So, unless the aliens get to kill people first, in which case.
Yes, yeah.
So
I'm just trying to picture myself. Don't know, how do you imagine? Did the aliens teleported us back into the forest?
No.
Or
so they teleport themselves.
They retreated to the forest.
Yeah, they're teleporting themselves, right?
Okay.
Not you. So they are like basically withdrawing from immediate range. Wherever you are, you're now in far range from them.
Yeah, and I mean, it may even be that like we're at the perimeter, they came in, messed us up, and then boom, now they're inside the base, and we got to turn around and yeah. Anyway,
so
we can't use power claws on them anymore.
A question about timing here.
Yeah.
Because if I understand this correctly, if the aliens act before Jim, then we will take damage.
Yes.
Which means
and
we
then
will all die unless we use strength or weakness.
Well, so
like if someone had a strength left to use that they could end this encounter, they'd even get a special medal for killing the last alien on the planet.
So
that's.
But I would say
my question is if do we roll first and then decide?
So you can always use a strength or a weakness when you see what the dice say, and and we'll take a look at the dice together, and we'll say, oh well, everyone is going to die, right?
Yeah.
And so there's two things you could do. right? You could see what the dice are, and you say, I'm going to use a strength, and I'm going to win the encounter myself, kill all those aliens, take the medal, save the day. You could say, I'm using a weakness, I'm going to save myself, everyone else is going to die. In which case we look at the rule for field promotion. So when the highest ranking person dies in combat, the next highest ranking person takes their rank. Okay. The other thing you could do if you're going to be really mean is you could force a weakness on Captain Beatty.
And then the orbital bombardment won't go off.
Yeah. If you say, I don't like this at all, you can say, let's get him out. So there's like loads of different ways. I would say just wait to see what the dice roll is.
And the other thing that's like particularly nasty about using force weakness is it forces me to mark that. So like I then can't use it at a time of my own choosing later. So that is definitely messing with the higher ups. And so since we've just met, Anders, I want to make it totally clear. I am super cool if you go ahead and do that. You are not gonna like it won't upset me. It's all part of the game, and I'm not gonna, I don't want you to like hesitate because it's gonna mean we're not friends or something like that. I'm totally cool with that if you think that would be a cool thing story wise, and I'm down with it. So just want to make sure we're clear on that.
And like in terms of it could be a good thing, right? Because if the aliens roll higher and then Jim rolls lower but still a success, the aliens are killing you all, and then the orbital bombardment is finishing off the job. So it may be that forcing weakness. No, so that is your action, though. That's all I'll say. You can't do it on the spur, like using a weakness or a strength. So that's the only kind of, it's not quite a magic wand, right? But getting out with a weakness, or
I think you have to declare that that's what you're going to do for the round.
Yeah, it's
right?
an action.
And then roll NFA or
it's a versus roll. I can't. It's an NFA roll off, I think. But let me.
Yeah, I think I have an idea for how I could use strength to win the encounter. So that's if it looks like everything is.
He just rolls NFA, and if he makes it, I have to use it on his turn. Then I have to use the weak.
Yeah. So but again, like if you see how things are going, you can also use a strength or weakness to just avoid the damage of the orbital bombardment. So there's a lot of options, right? Okay, so yeah, I guess are we doing declarations? Because I've forgotten. The aliens are going to try to kill you all. No surprise there. Jim.
Sorry, we stopped to read how the orbital bombardment works.
Yeah,
so
sorry. Okay.
I'm doing the orbital bombardment.
Yeah.
Missile
Pavel,
command style.
what's Drake up to?
Yeah, I was wondering, but I guess I can't call for evac because I'm not the highest rank alive. Only Jim can.
Yeah, only the highest rank alive. Yeah. Hint, hint. Sorry, the highest rank on the battlefield, right? So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Captain Drake calls for all the troops. Charge! They must have stolen something from us, or they must have grabbed the Damager. Charge in after them. And yeah, I guess I'm going to change range because my gun is completely ineffective.
So you could change range out of the combat, right?
Sorry, you know what? Sorry, go ahead, finish.
Yeah, I didn't get what Dono means. I'm just like changing range, yeah.
Okay, so you can change range to go in near. Right. I know when the aliens push range like they did to Beatty earlier, they pushed him out of the encounter, so beyond far range.
No. Come on. My orders are to kill aliens. I'm not going to. run the other way. Come on, like after them.
So Dietrich.
Changing weapons.
Changing weapons. Okay. And Smuckmare.
I'm shooting.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
I forgot I had the evac available. I'm going to evac instead. We just want to get the major out of here.
which will also inflict kills on people, right?
But you can use armor for it.
Yeah.
Yes. I thank you, Pavel, for reminding me that I could evac.
I know that it's available from my rank up, so I was like,
Yep.
but
Mhm.
I'm not
Yeah.
the highest. So.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. It's the last encounter of the planet, so I'm just
Okay.
gonna
But no one is no one is killing, and no one is getting a medal for removing the last threat token on the planet.
That's correct.
Yeah, I am discarding.
And armor refreshes at the end of the planet, right?
Yeah.
So
So basically, after this encounter.
Next session, we've got our armor back.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one gets any of that shit, and the major is still alive. Is what happens. So.
And you don't have to go to a demotion meeting.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, the question fictionally, do we know if the major is alive? Because do we know it fictionally?
Yeah, he's alive.
Cool, because the aliens
Smuckmare
went
is
in
keeping an
and
eye
then
on him.
teleported it away. So I assume maybe they got him. I don't know.
No, they're just being sneaky aliens, right?
Sure. Just
Okay.
making sure.
And Smuckmare, you're just shooting, right? Okay. So let's. So the evac is just a straight NFA check, right, Jim?
I'm just like wondering. So, is there any sense in us rolling for action, or is it just like?
Yes, because first of all, it's
always.
not automatic, and second of all, it still happens in order.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I'm just thinking that if the evac is incoming, my changing range doesn't make sense, because since it's like evac is coming here.
Except it mightn't happen.
I can still fail the roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I miss the roll, we're all exactly back where we started. So.
Yeah. In that case, I'm not sure what it will change in the battlefield, but I assume Sergeant Drake is running and turning on the turrets, if there are some turrets, some automated defenses, because I assume they didn't kick in.
I don't know.
Cool.
I mean, I wouldn't set automatic defenses if your shuttles are coming in to pick you up. Just, who trusts
it? It's certainly not something that we established in the fiction.
Yeah, we don't have it. Cool. I will just change the range. Yeah.
Okay. So let's roll. Aliens missed.
Me too.
Here we go. Let's see.
Okay, so Anders, Spunkmare, highest success.
Yeah, so I should do. Yeah, Spunkmeyer is just firing at this mass of aliens as the is it the drop ships that are coming down, or I'm not sure how the evac works.
Man, that I feel like, well, I mean you're just shooting that, like, the evac's not going to happen for a little while. I mean, it happens on my turn. So, but I feel this is like we're retreating back to whatever ship was on the ground. I mean, this is like the Vietnam analogies are going to run all the way right through the end of this game. So people hanging off the skids as we're dusting off.
Yeah. And basically covering the retreat then.
Yeah, you're there to, you maybe like shoot a couple in the faces, they throw themselves at the major or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So I've removed a token, and then we get the evac. Jim, do you want to give us color on that?
Yeah, I think we're, like it's too many dust off, I say. I kind of like do one of these at the, I like pop a flare next to the door of the, the landing craft, and we're all backing up, and Spunkmeyer's got the, like shoving the major in front of him. I mean, and like I picture the major as being fairly pragmatic based on what we've seen, and not Patton style standing there with a cigar shooting people or anything like that. So I think he is letting Spunkmeyer, lead him back to the craft and everything. And it's like probably the thing where like, Drake and Dietrich like have to like do a a push up, like a pull, like I reach down, to pull Dietrich up, and Spunkmeyer reaches down to pull up Drake, because like it's starting to come off the ground as they're hitting the the door, and we're pulling them in, and we may even have to like kill a couple of them because they teleport themselves into the ship to try and get the major, kind of thing like that. But and then we're up, and they're just like, we just see. I kind of like the idea that whatever Marines were left on the ground, we're just one by one, we're seeing them going down, and and this has got to be super weird to watch a swarm of them from above, right? Because they're like they're there, and then they're somewhere else, and this is happening all over. It's got to be surreal to be watching, like it's, like I imagine it's like disorienting, like maybe your vision isn't working right as you're watching all this happen, and we're
and a bunch of them like teleporting up to cling to the pods as we're lifting off, getting shaken off, and maybe the pods shaking a bit because they can't quite stabilize with all that all those extra weight on the outside.
Yeah. So it's not important, I think, because everyone is fine, but everyone takes a kill, which they can take on their armor. So it's this kind of running fight, and the pure acceleration of the dropships zooming away as more gunships come in to clear the area is pretty extreme. So yeah, you blast back out into orbit. Major Morgan giving you the thumbs up from the seat across the way from you. Okay, so let's do some quick bookkeeping for End of Planet. So for development, everyone. So first of all, who got the most kills? Dietrich did. No prizes there. So Puckett, you get to increase non-fighting or fighting ability by 1.
Awesome.
And you get to unlock an extra strength or weakness, whichever you have less of. If
I have the same number, what do I do?
You get a strength.
Okay.
Yeah. And then everyone else gets to roll a d10. Whoever rolls highest gets the same thing.
How do I add a new row?
On the table, you just select where you are. After you edit, you select where you are in the table, and there should be a little icon that has add row above, add column, add row below, and so on. It's the 3 boxes with the arrow above or below.
Gotcha.
So I think that because we tied, I think that means we both get it, right?
Yes. In an amazing piece of generous game design.
I'm 1 point behind.
Yeah, it's 1 point to NFA or FA. Okay. And then you unlock a strength or weakness to go with that.
Yeah, but there's not. I don't get anything, right?
No, yeah. So it's the person who killed most, and
Yeah,
then one other random person.
Mhm, mhm.
So yeah. Okay, so everyone heals all the harm they took. Their combat drugs and their armor comes back, and then everyone gets weapons development. So you can improve one weapon by one step at one range. So what that means is, if your slug rifle is D6 at far range, you can increase it to a D10. If your machine gun is at 2d10 at close range, at near range, it's 3d10 with one improvement.
I instead try to work the politics to become the lieutenant.
So
Because I think it's instead.
no. So you get one free improvement of a weapon, and then you get a second extra development, which can be the same thing, a new weapon, or a promotion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the weapon steps are: is it 1d6, 1d10?
2d6, 2d10. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that applies to everything. So grenades, hand-to-hand, slug rifle, etc. Okay.
Yeah.
So, so then everyone gets a chance at a second development roll or a second development. So to get this extra development, you have to roll NFA, and then you can decide what you're going to do. The three things that you can do are improve a different weapon in the same way that you just did. You can get a new weapon, or if you use the strength, you can go for promotion. So what I would say is just roll your NFA, and if you succeed, you pick what you want to do then. Okay, so we have so close, Pavel, so close. Your luck hasn't been great this session, what can we say? So, Puckett, you can, and Jim, you both get extra developments. They can be to get a new piece of gear, or one that's been damaged in the previous session, like a TPK bomb or an APC.
I'm gonna recharge my TP.
Okay, cool.
Is what I'm yeah.
And Puckett, you can either get a new weapon or increase the kill rating for a different weapon than the one you just did.
Okay, so let me step back for a second here because I'm on kind of heavily medicated today.
Okay.
So I have taken the stat increase from the most kills.
Yeah.
And I added the weakness. I add the strength from the most kills.
Yeah.
So what do I get? What do I do?
So the second thing you do then is to improve one weapon by one step at one range. So that could be like to increase your E-cannon from 0 to 1 at close or far range.
Okay.
And then the one you just rolled for is an extra development. So you can either improve a different weapon in the same way, or you can equip yourself with an entirely new weapon.
Or go for promotion.
No, you can only go for promotion if you use the strength.
Okay. Okay, so a shotgun goes to 2d6 at close from 1d10. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So basically, my options are improving 2 weapons.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. Okay, and final step is the prospect of Dietrich being demoted for cowardice or whatever we're calling it. So,
and real quick, with the E-cannon, it maxes out at 1d10 or 1d100 for near, correct?
Yeah, so you can only improve a step by 2 twice.
Gotcha.
I mean, like, so yeah, that near range is maxed out for the E-cannon. Your other options there are to make those zeros into 1, which
Gotcha.
means they're effective
So-
at removing threat tokens.
So
Obviously-
Puckett, a thing that I find is helpful that I've done on my character sheet is when
Mhm.
I improve it the first time,
You put
I
an
put
asterisk
1.
behind it.
and then when I've improved it the second time, I have 2, and then I know I can't improve it anymore once it's got those 2 asterisks.
That's exactly what I had done. I was just making
Yeah.
sure because I haven't
Oh, cool.
played.
Okay, great.
Well, I
Yeah.
haven't played this since the last time I played it with you and Donna.
Yeah, no worries. Okay. So let me read the motion. So for demotion, someone has to basically take the case against you, right? So it's a competitive NFA check if someone wants to do that to you. If there's any takers.
So this is for Drake.
No,
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 this
it's for
is
Dietrich.
It's for
Dietrich,
Dietrich. So does
for hiding in the mud that time.
so oh, interesting. Let me just read how it works.
So you can be demoted only if you used a weakness in the mission and you have not just been promoted during the development role. If a PC meets these criteria, then they can be a target for demotion. Another PC can nominate the target PC as long as they meet those 2 criteria. A PC can only be targeted once between missions. The nominator and the target then both make a test of NFA. If the nominator wins the role, then the target loses 1 rank after a court-martial. If the target wins...
I am not going to nominate him for demotion.
Okay.
I like him as a corporal.
Okay. How about Pavel or Anders? You jumping into this or staying well away?
Spunkmeyer, you can bust him back down to your rank, so he can't give you any orders anymore.
The only way I can see Spunkmeyer doing it would be unintentionally, like someone's asking what happened, like at the debrief or something, and he says,
I think we've established you've got a buddy that's got it in for Dietrich, though, don't we? Wasn't it your buddy who?
Yeah, Ariel was the
Yeah.
guy who discovered him, and he wasn't too impressed, you know.
Yeah. So like, I'm not saying I'm going to do this, but if I was going to do it, it would be like, those previous fights, those previous encounters, he was just killing everything, but here he just disappeared, and then we found him face down in the mud, and like he wasn't doing anything. But I'm not sure if that. Yeah, maybe if this Ariel is like goading him or something.
So I mean, as a player, it's completely up to you whether you want to make the roll off, and you know.
Yeah,
fiction.
no, I'll pass on that.
Okay, cool.
It doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and it's also totally legit to ask, for us to just be adults about it and ask the other player, how do you feel about this? Would it be cool? Would you rather not? And,
Yeah.
I'm
But it doesn't feel right for me. So we don't get into it.
Okay, cool. So I'm just looking at the time, and I know we probably run a little bit over. So I think we can stop then and maybe do some quick stars and wishes. That's all right with everyone? Okay.